Have you ever wondered about your past lives? It's believed by many individuals all over the world that we have past lives and that we carry the imprint of these experiences on some level within our bodies or within our energy fields. Some of us might remember these experiences with flashes of insight, or you may have had visions in your dreams, or possibly you felt connected to a specific place on the planet where your feet haven't yet touched in this lifetime. And if you're here, it's likely that you've had some of your own connections and a curiosity about your past lifetimes, which is the topic of today's video. For those of you who are new here today, my name is Andrea Graham, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. This channel focuses on sharing free pick-a-card tarot readings for you, for the collective, with the goal of bringing some clarity and validation and guidance to the path that you walk in this lifetime. In today's video, we will aim to connect to one or two of your past lives with the goal of examining any lingering energies that may have spilled over into your current incarnation. So these energies may be a blessing, others may feel a bit burdensome, but our aim is to touch on their connected roots and to see how these past life energies may be impacting you within this current lifetime. Then we'll see if there are any steps that you can take to transform or transmute these energies with the goal of releasing blocks. And finally, the positive new energies that you are making room for. Once you've made the space for them, there will be some beautiful new blessings coming your way. As you can see here, we have 4 groups or readings for you to choose from today. Each pile represents a group moving from left to right. We have group 1, 2, Group 3, and Group 4. I'm going to add crystals to the top of each of these to help concentrate and focus the energies a little bit more, which may aid in your group selection. So we will take a look at each crystal a bit more closely. Okay, Group 1's crystal is Azurite. Group 2's crystal is a flower agate. Group 3 is marked with this piece of polished Kyanite. And group 4, we have this small piece of Sulfur. If you haven't yet, take a moment to center yourself with a few deep breaths and allow yourself to be pulled to the energy of the group or the crystal that is drawing you in the most. If you're pulled to more than one pile, I recommend beginning your viewing with the group that has the strongest resonance for you, and then coming back to this introduction to see how the energy of your second or third choice is feeling to you at that point. You can choose as many piles or as few piles as you like. There is no wrong way to pick a group. You can go off of a gut feeling, being drawn to the crystal, or maybe even a number. The process of your intuition being activated is as unique as each one of you is watching today. You can pause this introduction should you need more time to choose. Timestamps and chapters are listed in the description box in the video bar below, along with other details of how we can stay in touch. If you'd like to book a personal reading, my Etsy shop is currently open if you're interested. That is the only way I will book clients. I will never reach out to you personally. Beware of scammers impersonating any intuitive readers because they'll tend to contact you first, and that is not the way that I conduct my business. All right, friends, I'm very excited to learn about how your past lives are impacting your current energy, so I am going to say goodbye here and then hello over in your video. So go ahead and pick your pile, and I will see you in a moment. Hello, Group 1. If you picked the Azurite, then welcome to your past life energies reading. If you skipped the intro, what we are doing here today is examining any lingering influence that one or two of your past lives has on you in your current lifetime. Now, you may already be aware of these past lives, or if not, having a conscious awareness, there may be an energetic resonance that feels unique, a little sticky, or you find that something familiar seems to pop out of nowhere and tickle the edges of your brain. You may have dreamed of these lifetimes. You may have had a past life reading that's relevant to what we talk about today, or this could be completely new for you. But you will likely recognize the energy that's coming forward and any associated blocks or impact that these past life energies may have on your experience today. So what we'll do is take a look at what these energies are, how they are impacting you in your current incarnation, and I want to say that for some of you, I'm getting this idea of cellular memory. It feels like This may be popping up as a kind of memory within the cells, within the body, within your aura. The impact of these lifetimes may include lessons you've learned and their corresponding strengths or gifts, or they could be in the form of lessons that still need to be completed, or they possibly are creating blocks within your energetic field. So we'll examine how to transform or transmute these energies as they're popping up, because if they are coming up right now and you're noticing them, it really is the prime time to take some action. And then as you process and then release the blocks, what are the gifts or the blessings coming from this release? What have you made room for? And I want to state too that I don't want to necessarily try and pin down tons of specifics for these, because we have a lot of people watching this and not everything will apply to everyone. So you may not get, in all likelihood, a time period, probably not, with these particular lives, as time and then some of the other specific circumstances, say location, will be in flux with the person who's watching. But what is important are your characteristics that are coming through, a story that might be coming through, and then the energy. And that is what we're going to be focusing on today. If you find you're watching and you have a period of history you're drawn to, or a place on earth that feels familiar, it may be in sync with these particular lifetimes. I would love to hear all about that in the comment box below the video if you're willing to share with us, because that likely then is what you are thinking it is. This is a pretty unique reading, and I'm excited to get started, so we're going to take a look at your cards today. Your first past lifetime is represented by this lust card of Venus in Aries. So what I'm sensing with this particular lifetime is a lot of determination on your part. That is the energetic signature, I want to say, that's coming through for this lifetime. This was a lifetime of achievement, achieving things, doing what's necessary to accomplish goals, even if there's an element of blending to fit in. Yeah, we have this chameleon right here. Not being entirely transparent about your true self or your true nature necessarily. There's a curiosity here. And there's a hearty zest for life. So you would have been very, very magnetic. I see you as navigating a lot of social situations with a very clever mind, a silver tongue, I want to say, and you're quite charming. But you don't quite fit in, I don't think. I sort of see this as you standing on the outside looking in. There's a kind of divide between you and the group that you're trying to fit in with, or a person you're trying to fit in with. So this determination I feel that's coming through is partly because you want to close this gap to make things work with this person. And I think you did work in this lifetime, Group 1. There is an incredibly strong work ethic here. It's centered around appearances, I want to say somewhat. Making yourself as elevated as possible. Using the assets and the charm that you had, you infiltrated whatever social circle or group that you needed to. And infiltrate to me is kind of a heavy word. That's kind of a charged word. But I think it actually accurately describes the level of intensity that you approached this. It mirrors that determination we spoke about. This was serious for you. And you were likely quite successful, Group 1. And I feel like part of it isn't just this lovely charm that you have. You were likely very attractive as well. But you also had this drive of the Aries personality, this explosive energy that was bubbling under the surface. You were not someone to sit still, even if you had the luxury of doing so. You were someone who had almost a restless energy. And I think those around you who were enamored with you would have seen it as part of your charm. And your determination would have been also, again, incredibly magnetic. And I think you would have kept these people guessing, like, does this individual return my favor or not? they're busy all the time. They've got things going on, and they're juggling a lot. They're capable of so much. Others, though, may have pegged you as opportunistic, willful, maybe even ruthless in some cases. And I get the feeling that because of this, you were very, very polarizing, Group 1. And people seem to find you either totally captivating, or they may have seen you as a social climber. And I don't know why this word is popping into my head. I think it's like a really old word we use to describe someone who's kind of like in politics but with no real roots to a place, like a carpetbagger. And so people may have thought of you as political, or like a chameleon almost that we see on the card there. You're able to blend into a place, but you did not have roots from this area. And what I'm getting for you is actually a lot of snobbery, or even outright prejudicial behavior from others, possibly even physical on some level. Not anything that's like super intense where you're having like these grievous, is that a word? These big like serious injuries or anything like that. You had, yeah, it's coming from other people, but you just had to have this kind of really thick skin, Group 1, in order to survive where you were. And I again think part of this need, this drive to elevate yourself, to close this gap, to fit in, may have happened because of survival, or I'm getting for some of you there may have been a past or a childhood experience of things being quite hard and there's an avoidance. I need to elevate myself, to distance myself, to get away from what was, running away from what was to create something new. Yeah, things felt quite hard. And it's like you had this taste of something unpleasant that you wanted to avoid going forward. Yeah. I do feel for some of you that your family is tied into this. You may have had a young child, even. Yeah. Like, and I'm seeing male for this. Or it's a younger sibling. And it may be a child that you are trying to pass off as a sibling. There's somebody that you're trying to shield that you love very much, and you're protecting and you're raising them. And it may have just been for some of you someone that you ran into that you do have a big heart, you care about others, there's some kind of connection, and you kind of take them under your wing. I do feel you are likely female in this lifetime. There is a possibility for some of you that you are a male if you're watching this, but just lean into whatever you feel resonates for you. There is this feeling of self-sacrificing, an element of self-sacrificing, and avoiding feelings. We have this explosive energy. It's like you're bottling things up and phew. And I feel like it's almost because you don't have the luxury to dwell in them. You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving on to the next thing. I am getting that you were likely an orphan, because this isolation is standing out to me here, or you lost your family members when you were pretty young. Or there's something to do with an isolation from your family or your group of origin early on. There is some kind of distance between you guys. What it is you feel foreign to me in the place that this lifetime is giving me information for. So that could be part of the divide or the gap also that I'm picking up on. It feels like a stranger in strange lands. Your determination, Group 1, is the thing that carries you through all of these experiences. But the restlessness inside of you is like this machine that continues to propel you forward, like you need more and more and more. And there's this scarcity mindset, or it's a lack, that underpins the way that you move through the world in this past lifetime. That's the machine. That's like what's pumping your heart. And again, it's that avoidance. I think it has to do something rooted in the childhood. And I don't feel this is something that ever truly went away. And so this may be part of the predominant energy that's spilling into your current lifetime. And I want to note, if I haven't mentioned already, beauty and aesthetics, art, these also may be an important part of this past lifetime and also within your current experience. And as well as the way that you relate to others. So to see if any of these patterns are popping up, you might ask yourself some questions. Are there moments in my relationships that feel transactional to me? And have I ever felt performative in any of my relationships? Are there certain relationships where that is definitely happening, where it stands out more than others? Do I feel a need to shield my truths, my true feelings from other people? To hide behind a mask? Am I fully able to be myself and be transparent with others? Do I change myself to fit in? These ideas may give you some clues to ways that this past life energy is currently manifesting in your present lifetime. All right, so that's the gist of what's coming through for that particular lifetime. There may be more information that we'll circle back to, that will come out, and we'll make sure to do so. But what I'd like to do is start taking a look at the next lifetime. Okay, and so what we have here is generosity, and this is Saturn in Leo. The first thing that I want to say is that I think this lifetime may have happened after this first one that we described. If that's your belief in how lifetimes are arranged, that there truly is a past. Take it how it resonates, but this first card has the number 1 on it. This one has 5. And so to me, 1 indicates a new energy, and I'm seeing this as like the catalyst almost, or the start, because we've got that volcano there. And the number 5 would indicate, I think, sometime later on. And 5's a number I also associate with instability and change, of needing some more work to be done before you can jump into the next cycle or the next lesson. But you've already had some experience. Your hands are already a little bit dirty there. And I don't mean dirty in a bad way, I just mean like you're doing the work. You've been building up towards your goals. So I think it's fair to say that the Venus in Aries lifetime is influencing this newer lifetime, the Saturn in Leo lifetime. But I think both of these lifetimes then are also influencing you right now as well. So this is interesting, I think, because we're now dealing with the energy of Saturn, which can be about determination and responsibility and discipline. Some of those energies were also at play in your prior past life. Also, we have Leo here, which is just larger than life and showy and perhaps needing appreciation or validation, a bit of the spotlight. And I think that need also stems from here. That past life we've already discussed. There's that need for recognition and admiration. I think that was ultimately tied into safety and belonging to a group. In this lifetime, though, this is more about leadership. It's about leading a group or speaking to a group, then blending into a group. So it's like you're finally stepping out a little bit. This particular incarnation, you're feeling more to be male to me, although it may not matter. Within this particular lifetime, you would be someone who has a little bit of clout, I want to say, some sway, and this may be in part due to birth and inheritance for some members of this group, and for others, this has to do strictly with you having the right experiences, the Saturn determination, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps when you're down, and introductions to the right people. And yet, there is also a subset of the population who is watching this right now where things aligned for you. It was just, it's like the heavens opened up and it's like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? It feels like there's a push toward this position and you were not anticipating what was going on at all. It's like you're looking around you and the story that you're living is being written as it's happening. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? Regardless, though, of how you get there, one thing that you all paths had in common was this, again, magnetism to you. That's coming over again, a common theme, a possible energetic influence from that first past life that we talked about. And you have this ability to speak, to use your voice. And I want to say that it's perhaps political or for matters regarding the betterment of others. You do carry this energy of generosity with you, wanting to help. And perhaps it's because you had to do so much on your own and you had very little help in this prior lifetime. because in this lifetime, there's an extreme motivation to connect with others and to champion them. And you certainly know how to rally a crowd, group 1. For some of you, it's your message. For others, again, it's that magnetism. People are just drawn to you. It's your passion. And the passion, it really lights other people up. And I get the feeling they'd follow you. They would take what you say quite seriously. And there again, we have a bit of this performative energy that's coming through, this quality, but it's less about acting a role and more about using your voice effectively, the way an actor or a speaker knows how to draw others in just by using their voice. Some people called you a leader. Others called you a teacher. Some called you a politician. But I think overall, group 1, champion is the word that I want to use. Yeah. This was not a misguided political career. There is nothing malignant, manipulative, of like needing to be in a leadership role. You truly just want to help people. You want to help people that need it. And you had a way of tuning into others, tuning into suffering, tuning into needs, tuning into hopes, tuning into dreams. And I feel like as a result of this, you were able to make some pretty big changes here. But again, you cut a very polarizing figure, just like we talked about before. In this last lifetime, you are simultaneously deeply respected and loved even, but you're also feared, you're mocked, and you draw the ire out of some people because of your incredibly passionate and intense views. And just the fact that you have a platform at all, I think there's some jealousy there. And for some of you, I want to go back to like that group. There's this divine guidance here. And so for some of you, you're tapping into realms and voices and guidance that is perhaps not of this world. People saw that as a gift, and other people saw that as, you're damned, basically. Sorry. So just being in the public eye is enough just to make some people upset. And I feel like even though you had so many people around you, to me, what I'm getting is this feeling of being very, very alone, very lonely, in one sense. Because there aren't many people who can connect with you and where you are, because this position is rather unique. In the first lifetime, there's a loneliness, but you were fighting for a younger member of your family. For your survival, people saw you, but they saw the mask that you offered only, right? In this lifetime, you're much more transparent. You continue to champion for many people, but your status leaves you again quite alone. You have an inner circle of supporters, but I see you as taking a lot of time to contemplate things alone. And I don't know that others see that loneliness. How could they? What are they seeing? They're seeing the passion. They're seeing the crowds. They're seeing like this fieriness here. Not many people know the true you in this lifetime. Or, across both of these. So that again could be an energy that you feel is at play right now in your own lifetime. Some of the other energies from this particular lifetime might involve, being a performer in one sense. So, performance, getting behind causes, generosity of your time or your money or your talent, loneliness, being in the public eye, and then of course that common thread of determination is huge. I do feel if you are watching this group 1, you are an incredibly determined individual. All right, now I'd like to now take a look at how these particular energies are impacting you in your current lifetime in terms of specific boons or blocks. So we're thinking of the B's here, right? Boons or blessings and blocks. We're going to look at both of those things and then move on how to help transform some of the blocks. We want to think of these, I guess, as the energies that are there because you've integrated them. Particularly I'm talking about the blessings. It's sort of like, here's what I've gained because I've done the work. And that could be the case. It could be you've done some healing in another lifetime after this to help integrate things, or they can just be gifts that you have that you're enjoying. But either way, when we're talking about transforming things here, we're not going to be letting go of anything that is pleasant or is a gift of yours. That's not going to happen. What we're looking at is just kind of moving on any energy that you don't wish to be there, that you might recognize, that might seem familiar to you from these past lives. Okay. Oh, shocker. Yeah. So we have the Lovers in reverse for our Lust card. So that's one of our blocks. And we also have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, let's go. Let's just keep doing what we were doing. We're going to go lifetime by lifetime. And we'll start with the Venus and Aries lifetime first. So our Lovers card. The energy from this initial past life is feeding energetic blocks with relationships. So that can be romance, it can be partnerships of any kind, friendships, family, business, and I am being drawn to talk about contracts for some of you. Yeah. So you may have noticed these particular areas in your life feeling to be a bit challenging. You might have recently had some experiences that might make you notice that this particular sector of your life is a little bit difficult from time to time. And this could look like a variety of things. In here, we talked about, in this past life, we talked about the need for masks and facades. So perhaps you find you're unable to be completely yourself within your relationships. You may find that you hold back from others a little bit. There may be an erosion of trust, either on your part or on the part of the other person. And again, we talked about like a performative quality as well. So that also may be something that's going in. You may be performing a little bit to fit in with a group. It could be people at work, or you may find that that's something that is kind of going on across all your relationships. So you kind of are this chameleon, like you change a little bit in order to gain approval or to fit in with everybody. And also, we need to remember, too, we do have that Aries energy, that explosive energy. That may be feeding a drive to want more, even when there's plenty. We talked about that kind of being the engine for you in that past life, what was moving you in your heart. And you may not know how to cool that down a little bit, that kind of wanting, or I have to get more, I have to achieve more, I have to prove myself. Now, of course, we also have blessings from this life too, so let's talk about those as well. So some of these that may have rolled over may include that sense of determination, again, your willpower. I think too, because you were such a social chameleon, there's this flexibility of thought that goes with this. Your intelligence is clearly there, obviously very beautiful or attractive, like your attractive features, and that magnetism we talked about. And then with Venus too, we're talking about knowing how to style yourself, or having that artist's eye, an artistic sensibility about you, an appreciation of not just art, but then also nature and how everything fits together. You're somebody, I think, who can look at the smaller pieces of something and know how everything goes together. I think knowing also how to talk to others in a persuasive manner is also emphasized here, as well as any natural charm, where we kind of talked about that wit of yours, just you being kind of a sparkly person here. Any combination of what we've talked about here, the blessings, and then also maybe some of the things that were a little harder, may be some things that you're noticing that are currently at play within your life as energetic ties to this particular past life. So we also have here the Queen of Wands in reverse. And this is interesting because I want to say this card's associated with Leo. We have the lions here. We've got this color yellow. It's like the sun. And our past life here was Saturn and Leo. That was a Leonic lifetime. So boiling this down to its essence, I want to say that this lifetime, I think, is really impacting your true leadership potential and any goals that you might have surrounding that. You may find that you can't quite grasp the essence of those goals entirely. You aren't able maybe to be completely transparent about your desires and, you know, what you see down the road for whatever reason. And so you may find that you're attached then to others' thoughts and their beliefs and their desires instead of your own. It's like you can't find that magnetic north, that true north of yours. There's almost a rigidity, I want to say, or a nervousness here. A hollowness, as though you're sending out all your energy and focus towards others and you're not stoking your own fires. And that, again, it could be actually a holdover from this, like overcompensating, like going the opposite direction from the Venus and Aries lifetime. It's like you've cooled things off a little too much here. And so you've overcompensated to the point where you've kind of lost your own fire and your own flame. And that's not for everybody, but that will be for some of you. You also may not enjoy being seen here, as this, again, is a very bright and transparent and honest kind of way to hold your space. So when you are in the spotlight, I feel like you're begrudgingly there. I feel like you are meant for bigger things, Group 1, but you are definitely holding yourself back here. And there is some fear, I think, surrounding the Saturn and Leo past life. I'm starting to get the feeling that somebody close to you, I want to say, kind of did you dirty. That's what's coming through. I'm getting kind of like a squicky feeling about this. And so it's possible that you were harmed, killed, or something or someone interrupted your plans so much that you were unable to make much progress in the areas in which you wished to. So it's like things just come to a screeching halt for you. And I see that some of you spent your later life just holed up away from other people, like completely dropping out of the spotlight where you once used to shine. So I think it's no wonder that you may be nervous to be a figurehead, Group 1. And also, if we compound this energy with some of the difficulties and blocks within partnerships, you may not know who you can trust right now. I do sense there are probably people around you who are jealous. I'm going to say that outright. And that, again, could be a holdover from here as well. But it's definitely prominent in this particular lifetime right now. And I think for some of you, you may be able to sense those emotions. For others, you may just want to watch yourself a little bit. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about some of the blessings. You do carry a natural leadership quality with you from this prior lifetime. Absolutely. Additionally, you're likely artistic in some capacity. You may have a lovely speaking or a singing voice, or you can be quite persuasive. And I think some of you would make excellent lawyers or debaters. And of course, you obviously deeply care about other people and you would like to help them. So, okay. Group 1, that is our little interpretation of our blocks and our boons or our blessings that may have come from these past lives. And so our job now is we want to see what we can do to kind of flip the script and let go of things. We're going to examine any action or transformative quality that we can take that will help dissolve these blocks or cords to the energies of these past lives. And so this won't be for everything. It's basically, think of it like, what first steps can I take? All right, so we've got a transformation card here. This is from the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, which I just love. And all right, we have the energy of chaos. That's intense. All right, let's see what we get here. Ooh, it's a little spooky. And that, yeah, the moon I want to associate with intuition and fear. Being a little stuck over here. There's a lot going on. Okay. You may be in a state, Group 1, where things feel overwhelming to you. So I feel like for some of you, it's many little things that are adding up to create this big chaos energy. And it's like the energetic blocks from both these lives here are just piping into your aura to help create this heavy blanket of energetic overwhelm. And so for some of you, this is like, I've got miles long to-do lists full of your not so favorite adulting activities, right? And then for some of you, there's probably some big stuff going on too, for sure. And you know what I'm hearing? I'm seeing you kind of like hunkered down in the middle here between this. You're kind of covering up, and I'm hearing that song "Stuck in the Middle with You" by Steeler's Wheel. It's an old one, and it's a good one. But and I'll link it down below in the box. I don't think I've talked about music in a while, but it's almost comical what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you like hunkered down in the middle of like, it's almost like a tornado, and you've got all this debris flying around you, and I'm just hearing this song playing, and it's like you're looking around over here. What do they say? Clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you, and it's you're just looking around like, I can't believe this is what's going on right now. And so we want to make room for this to kind of blow out, right? We want to loosen the energy up. And a way to do that with chaos is just to sit with it. The chaos itself is its own agent of change. So what this card is asking you to do, what your guides are kind of pushing you toward, is just remaining calm in the midst of the storm. And so it's about allowing things to happen. It's about accepting where you are. Maybe we're laughing about it a little bit with some of it. And letting what needs to bubble up to do so. And then to express it so that it has moved up from your body and your energy system. And so your guides are asking you not to add anything additional to your plate right now. So try to take it easy. You don't want to do anything that's going to agitate this energy further. Okay? This isn't any time for heavy soul searching, for questioning, for rumination, for adding more things to your plate. It's just a time of allowing and being. So your suggestion is just to do things that don't rile up what's already here. I'm hearing like, don't poke the bee's nest, don't poke the hornet's nest. You want to do things that help calm the energy a little bit. Not suppress it, you need to let it out. And so this might look like getting some fresh air for some of you. Taking a nap if you're tired. Meditating, I think, would be big. Creating breathing room is your goal here, as you can. And some of you, and this message came through, I think, in last week's reading as well, cleaning your space, clearing it out. If you've got a little bit of clutter, that definitely, especially for my energetically sensitive friends, you are going to pick up on that. You want to make more space. So let things go, pitch things. You want to continue to allow feelings to emerge, and if you're struggling with that a little bit, if that's hard for you, you can pull in another party as just a framework or a guide, but don't do heavy probing or lifting right now. It's more just, let's talk things out, let's let things out, let's not dig into things deeply. You want to do things that help give your energy oxygen again and space again, so there is room for things to begin moving and just releasing from your system. And as you rest, as you release, as you recharge, some of these energies will begin to naturally let go and fall away on their own. But I do want to stress, ask your guides to support you on clearing your system out as well. They're always there and they're ready to help. Sometimes we forget to ask. And I know I often do. I'm very guilty of this. It's like, oh yeah, I have this whole team of people here ready to help. Ask. So if you're someone who does well, Reiki, massage, things that involve, the body and healing, releasing trapped energy and emotion, that'll help push things out of your tissues as well. So the bottom line to remember is the chaos energy is going to pass. All storms do. You do not need to do anything. Avoid taking on anything that's too heavy or too much right now. Anything extra. Feel your feelings. Engage in activities that help relax you, and don't forget to ask those guides. To me, this is something that feels like a knot in your muscle, and it's going to gradually release on its own. If you engage in some of the suggested ideas, it may help to move things along more quickly. Okay, and so finally, we're going to get to our last little bit here, which is the energies that you're making room for and what they are. So as you clear some of the other stuff away, you're making room for new things. Oh, and we're clearing up our blocks. So let's flip these over. Yay. So we're kind of taking all the positive qualities we have here of those, We have I Am Solar Plexus. I haven't used the I Am Power deck in a while. I love these cards. So fun. Okay. And I Am Manifestation. Look at you go. So once the blocks or energetic residue from these past lives have been released, you automatically make room for these new energies to flow in. So you now have the energy of a strong solar plexus, which is super Leonic. This whole side, it just has this beautiful, like, little sunshiny story to it. It's powerful. This is your leadership. It's how you present to others in the world. This is you stepping into your sovereignty, into your creativity, and all that potential that we saw before, and being okay with being seen. This to me feels like a completely healed path, Group 1. And through that, you have stronger manifesting abilities. We know what we want. We're clear about our goals. And by working backwards, it gives us the steps that we need to take to move forward. So your manifesting mojo is also going to be getting a major boost here. And you're likely to begin pulling in the relationships that you desire, the partnerships that you deserve. You've dropped any pretense that may have existed, any masks. You're not attracting people that have those things, if that's what was going on. You're standing in the full light of the sun here. And you say what you need. I think people then will naturally be responding to you even more. And any gifts that came through from this Venus and Aries lifetime are magnified. I think I said through. So your goals and your dreams are much, much closer than you think. Very close to the surface here with this new manifesting energy, Group 1. And what I really want to say for you here, just remember, you're radiant. This entire experience is part of your current journey. It's a few petals on this rose that is just ever unfolding. You know, and as you let go of old energies, new beautiful energies pop up in the center to claim their place at your table. And we're all works in progress, and that's the beauty of our paths. So Group 1, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here with us. I have big love and gratitude for you. And if you're so inclined, please give this video a like and share it with others who may find it entertaining or of value. If you haven't yet, we'd love for you to join our community, so please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. I do tend to upload videos about once a week, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. If you'd like to support other members of the Group 1 crew, please leave "let's go" with a sun emoji in the comment box below. And share a bit about your experience so others can find the support of your words. Much love to you, Group 1. Thank you so much for being here all the way to the end. I love that. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, my friends. Hello, Group 2. If you picked this flower agate, then welcome to your past life energies reading. Now, if you skipped the intro, what we're doing today is we are examining any lingering influence that two of your past lives has on your current lifetime. So you may already be aware of these past lives. And if you don't have a conscious awareness, there may be an energetic resonance that feels unique to you. Things may feel a little sticky, or it's like you have something familiar that pops up, almost like deja vu, where it kind of tickles the edges of your brain. Now, you may have dreamed of these lifetimes before. You may have had a past life reading that revealed information to you about them. Or this could be completely new for you. But I want to say you will likely recognize the energy that's coming forward and any associated blocks or impact that these past life energies may have on your current incarnation or your current experience. The impact of these lifetimes may include lessons that you've learned and their corresponding strengths, gifts, or they could be in the form of lessons that still need to complete, or they may be creating blocks within your energetic field right now. So we'll examine how to transform or transmute these energies as they're coming up, because, you know, if they're popping up for you right now and you're noticing them, then this is the prime time to help move them along. And then as you process and release those blocks, we have some gifts and we have some blessings that are coming forward from that particular release. It's what you are making room for, what's coming next. In the reading that I just did for the Group 1, I had a little disclaimer, I didn't have a lot of details around time periods or places, and I feel that will likely be the case with this as well. What is being emphasized more is possible events, characteristics, and that kind of thing, because there are so many people that are watching this that there is no way we can target certain specifics. So what we're going to do is focus on the energies and just general characteristics, but whatever comes through, there may be more information. We don't know. If you have a period of history you're drawn to or a place on Earth that feels familiar to you and it feels like it's in sync with this, let us know about it in the comment box below the video, because I'd be curious to see what's resonating for some of you and then what are the details for other people that are drawn to this as well. So this is a very unique reading. I've never done anything quite like this before and I'm excited to get started. So we're going to take a look at your cards. All right, so the very first card that is representing your first past life we will be talking about today is the card of Convention, and this is Venus in Capricorn. Okay, so in this past life, you had absolutely everything that you needed in the sense of your physical needs being met, and just being provided for in a worldly sense, I want to say. So it's your physical needs are taken care of, your vessel's being taken care of, but not all the emotional boxes are being ticked off here. Some of you may have been very well off, and I feel like you have everything you need that would make you happy, at least on the outside. And for the time, people are thinking, oh, yep, we're checking all the boxes off, so those people must be well off. That person must be happy. They must be doing well. But the thing is, there's a coldness and a rigidity that's happening in this particular lifetime. There's a severity here. Yeah, there's a severity here that does not suit you. It doesn't suit... You have this like warm, kind of quirky sense of humor and just your being. You're not meant to be in this space. It feels like there's a disconnect, and I feel like you deserve something. Goomba's agreeing right now. If you hear barking, I apologize. I'm dog sitting, and so I've got Goomba, and then there's a friend of his that's also coming over as well, and so you may hear some barking from time to time. I will do my best to try to edit it out, but if he's piping in, maybe it's a message. You're somebody who deserves warmth. You deserve the sun. You deserve happiness, but there's some kind of divide between you and I think almost like your caregivers when you were a child, and then this is mirrored later on with the person that you settle down with your spouse. I do want to say that I'm leaning toward you as presenting as a woman in this lifetime. And I feel like you were promised off to a cousin, a distant cousin in marriage. It would have been acceptable for the time and the space. And I feel like there is a part of you that wants to be free. And I almost feel like, again, you're like this kind of wild animal, like a wild bird, this beautiful creature that's been caught, and you're in this cage. Others can look at you. They think you look great, but your wings have been clipped. There's this feeling of, oof, like the walls are closing in, everything's a little too tight, everything's shrinking. And I feel like maybe initially when you saw this home, you saw this opportunity, you were young, you were more open to the arrangement. But as you age, as you grow, as you learn, you become less content with this lifestyle and you do feel boxed in. There is a tinge of resentment there as well. But I'm feeling leaving your spouse just wasn't an option in this particular place and time. So that already it's a little different than the first readings because we're getting a little more information. And I feel like this is narrowing things a little bit more for you who are watching. You do produce an heir, and I want to say many children. It feels like a full house to me. With some of you, there are some losses for sure in between. I want to say at least 3. You love your children dearly, and I feel like it's though you don't want to repeat the experiences you had growing up. You want a little more warmth and love in your home. So while you try to follow some of the necessary conventions of the time, I do feel you're somebody who bucked conformity in a sense. You're a little wild, a little untamed, and so I think you're also more free with your children, and the way that you hold yourself, the relationship is different. There's definitely more of a connection than there might be between other parents and their children at that time. And I think people actually find you a little eccentric in the way that it either presents in the way that you're parenting, it gets noticed that way, or just people ascribe parenthood as the change for you that made you that way. But I really think you're just actually realizing what's happening and what's around you. And that you're a person, a woman, like out of time, in the wrong time. So I almost want to say, even though this wouldn't be like of this time period, like they wouldn't have these terms, but like a starseed, I'm kind of getting that kind of feeling. Like I'm not in the right space. This isn't right for me. Always feeling a little on the outside. So there is a fullness to the household. There is love there, definitely. You're fond of the husband, for sure. But I think as you look back over your lifetime, there are definitely regrets there. And one of them may have been, I feel like there is possibly this like outside influence, like another man somewhere who sees you, but you don't leave. Yeah. And the other regret, I think, has to do with freedom, just being out there. There are parts of you in this lifetime, I think, that didn't want to marry at all. Not even for that right person. And in terms of the relationship with your children, you love them, but you wouldn't have necessarily done this the same way again if you had the choice. And I think as you age, you get older, you reflect and you look back and you see yourself as having that choice and opportunity. You would have forged a new path. You would have found a way. You would have made a way. And the prevailing energies that want to come through for this lifetime, because I'm not getting a lot else, and we'll see if something else pops out, but what I want to say is I'm dealing with like conformity here and rules and rigidity. And just look how everything's so boxed and neat right here on this, like with the art. Freedom and social norms and just equality and love and again this idea like you feel like you're this person who is just born at the wrong time. All right, we're going to pop back into this one. I am getting pulled to venture over into the next lifetime, which is versatility, and it is the sun in Gemini. Wow, you couldn't have, I think, two things that are any more different than what we're looking at here. So this first lifetime came across as so like sparse. I think that's the word I want to say. It's Spartan in terms of emotional connection, and it feels like someone's taking your remote control to your TV and they've dialed the volume all the way up on those particular things. It's just heavy and it's lonely. It's a bit like a void. We've got the number 10 here, which to me is indicating an incredibly concentrated experience. Like I said, we jack that volume all the way up. And so it's perhaps the ending of this particular type of energy, this cycle. And the next lifetime is a 3. So to me, that indicates you've moved into the next phase of your journey. You've had some time, you've had some growth, and this lifetime is now one of more connection and collaboration versus that sense of isolation. The gender in this lifetime does not feel significant to me. What's important is that you're living your life with the freedom and flexibility that you did not have in the past. You still have a dedication and a focus that you had prior. This is carried with you, and the focus is on self-improvement and also exploring all the possible experiences that you can have. The weirder, the better. You've got a checklist almost, and okay, let's do this, let's try this. You just don't feel tied down by anybody or anything. And there is a joy here. There's a fierce dedication to self-improvement and self-exploration. You're diving into the galaxy of you. In the last lifetime, you stood out, right? It's a little eccentric. But here, you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who are supportive. They don't see you as eccentric. They don't see you as odd because what you live is the norm for where you are. So there may be a bit of a community around you of people that are like-minded. You are still quick-witted. There was definitely an intellect here as well that I was getting. Mentally and emotionally flexible in this place. Like, yep, flexible. And you're quite evolved as just like as a human being, I think. But But I also think, perhaps because of a result of this Venus in Capricorn energy, in that lifetime, you almost have this knee-jerk reaction to being boxed in. And I'm hearing that song by the Chicks, Wide Open Spaces. And I got a song from the other group too, so I'll post it in the box below if you're just curious about it. If you haven't heard it, you hadn't heard it in a while, it might be worth looking into. But it's like you need the wide open horizon. You need experiences to have that, because otherwise they can be almost claustrophobic. And I think that's a reaction to this prior incarnation. You would rather sleep under the stars than share a tent with somebody or have to be tied down to anything. And it's interesting because you were walled in here at one time, but now it's like you're walling other people out. If people can meet you on your own terms, then fine. You know, they're part of the club. But if not, you don't even bother. It's just like, oh, I'm done. Like, you're very black and white in terms of, I think, cutting people out or letting people in. But I do feel like this lifetime is a big celebration for you. It's like a kid who is in the kitchen just going crazy baking this wild cake. Have you ever seen the Netflix Nailed It show? It's kind of like that, except I think those are adults on that show that don't know how to cook. But this is just like a kid throwing everything together, and it's everything that makes you smile. You are doing all of the things that you always wanted to do. You're checking off all your boxes. And I think in both lifetimes, you are super reflective. You're always looking for ways to improve yourself. Dedication to the self, again, is your biggest priority here, which some on the outside may look at you as being self-absorbed. But the thing is, you're the pendulum swinging so far the other direction. You finally have your freedom. What stallion isn't going to run when the gate is open? This is not their life to live, it's yours. You've already had this lifetime of being caged in. You followed your passions and dreams as a result. And because of this, you are healing, or you healed some of the energy that came from this very first lifetime that we spoke about. So this second lifetime, I would say, is characterized by choices and options and flexibility, boundaries, social norms, having expectations. It's about personal agency, and it's about freedom. And so what I would like to do next is we are going to examine these energies and how they're impacting you in your current lifetime in terms of boons or blessings and blocks, so all the B things. And what we're going to do then is we'll move on to see how we can help transform the blocks in particular. We're not getting rid of the blessings. You can almost think of those as being already integrated. They're lessons that you've already worked through, and it's what you've made room for. So we're not getting rid of those. We're not touching them. So our first block and blessing card that we're looking at is the Four of Wands in reverse. And this is tied to the Venus in Capricorn lifetime. And the second blessing and block card is the Six of Wands in reverse, which is tied to the Sun in Gemini lifetime. So our major block stemming from this first lifetime may be related to building foundations and relationships with others. That's literally what we see on this card. Typically this card is one of like celebrations and weddings and togetherness and a firm foundation for the future. Sure, we have a firm foundation here, but it's too much. It's overkill. Everything is so tight it's cracking for me. And so this could be the result, kind of cracked foundations with other people, having a hard time forging those foundations. So with friends or family or lovers or work, any kind of partnership that you have going on. There may be a lack of trust in some regard to allowing others to govern you as well. So this may have made for a difficult journey with, one or both of your parents, some of your parents, or other figures in your family. You may resist authority figures on principle or feel trapped in certain positions, which can cause, I feel, some instability across your life. I'm seeing like a boat that's getting rocked. And this would be particularly in work or certain positions where others hold places of authority over you for an extended period of time, especially if they're not of a secure mindset. They're not secure leaders, or they operate out of sheer ego. And, I mentioned that knee-jerk reaction to being boxed in. So there may be still a part of you here that needs to see the clear horizon. You need the stars at night. You need that open space. So you may find yourself being a little hyper vigilant from time to time, just scanning that horizon for perceived threats to your freedom, which can likely leave you feeling a little tired out from just constantly screening everyone as you try to figure out their motivations and how do you fit into their world, how do they fit into yours. And honestly, I feel like you might be a little tired of this kind of feeling. You're not as joyful at times as you would like to be or that you remember being. Your boons or blessings from this lifetime actually include that ability to tune into others. So we talked about this, and this often happens with things that are strengths or weaknesses, things that are harder for us actually also have like some strength in there as well. That hypervigilance we talked about actually, I think, leads to some pretty impressive empathic abilities. Possibly psychic abilities for you as well, I'm thinking, because you're so sensitive to others in your environment. Also, you likely have a very strong moral compass and you're willing to apply that to many different causes and interests. And I think you have a sense of what's fair and ethical, and I think you'll also go up to bat for others who need it. Some of you are going to be incredible introverts for sure, who recharge their batteries alone and they feel quite independent and strong. And I feel like others admire this kind of untouchable quality that you radiate. And you also have brought with you like that quirky sense of humor we talked about, the intellect, the wit that's there. And some of you will be very good with children and animals, and you may notice that they may be quick to approach you. So those are some of the gifts that may have come through for you in this particular lifetime and from that lifetime. Now the Six of Wands in reversed is attached to the Sun in Gemini lifetime. And although there is a similar overlap with this idea of, others versus this self, the block here has to do with actually holding others at bay, maintaining such a strong sense of individualism that there are walls up around you, whether you realize this or not. And I think this shows a potential for celebration and for union with other people, taking your unique qualities and sharing them with others in the public eye, but it's a matter of just like flipping the script here. It will bring a healing energy to some of this past life, which was very focused, this particular life, on healing that Venus and Capricorn lifetime. So what this is all feeling to me, this is a huge interconnected kind of, I don't know what the word is, like a circle almost. We have like a circle going on here. And it feels to me like it's about balance, balancing the scales, bringing everything back to a level surface, to an even keel, balancing public versus private, freedom versus boundaries, the self versus others. And some of the boons or the blessings that you've brought with you, just are like a wide array of talents and skills. Many interests, and I think you have this big brain to like back it all up. And again, we have that same intellect, we have that quirkiness that has come through in both of these, and it suits you very well. And I don't think that you see everything that you have to offer everyone. Both of these are very public cards, which just shows to me if there's a block there, it's kind of about holding yourself back from other people, whether you recognize that or not. You have quite a lot to offer, and I don't know that you're truly seeing yourself in all of your gifts. There is a lot of mental flexibility, though, with you, especially when it comes to theories or topics of interest for you. I feel like you could dive down a rabbit hole and just keep going and going and going. And so there's a lot to talk about with other people. You're able to take this information, like store it away for a rainy day, store it away for later. And you may be someone who's interested in how things work and perhaps people too, but you may, hold that at an arm's length, or you may hold them. So it's more like I study people, but I'm not with people. So psychology might be interesting to you, that kind of thing. Also, you may be good at multitasking, and some of you might be ambidextrous. Maybe it's just like that, what I'm getting, but I want to talk about the feet too. So some of you might have like pretty feet or dexterous feet. You're able to move your toes, like some of them may be independently of each other. Maybe you can pick things up easily, I don't know. But anyway, there's something with feet for some of you. So that will not apply to everyone, obviously. That's just going to be some of you watching this. But these are some of the blocks and boons originating from these past lives. And what I would like to do now is just examine any action or transformative quality that we have here with the Wild Unknown Alchemy card that's in the center. And what you can do is just focus on whatever this energy is, and it will help you to dissolve the blocks or cords to the energies of this past life where they're tethered. I feel like that was a lengthy explanation. Okay, so your transformation card is, oh my gosh, Venus. So it's like going back to the heart of this. We've got Venus 2 times here. So obviously this is a pretty important energy. Notice how much more open and free-flowing this is. We've got a rainbow here, and this is just, you know, again, tightly constructed. It's this neat little box. Just so much more rigidity, and this is just like open. Very cool. So, bit of a shocker there, but not really. We know how spirit likes to work. So, welcoming Venus energy into your life is part of the key of this. It's going to reinvigorate the energy that was missing from this first past life. It's like applying a salve to a wound or a burn. It's going to calm a lot of this hyper-vigilant and isolating kind of energy. It's going to calm it down. You know, this lifetime was austere and it was rigid, and its energy it lacked the fundamental connection to the self and all of its wants and all of its desires. By inviting in pleasure and committing to get to know what makes you tick and honoring that, you're going to help heal some of these lingering phantoms of this past lifetime. And a deeper connection with the self will allow you to bridge the gap between you and other people. Yeah. Your body and soul will know that you respect yourself when you're keeping promises to yourself. And with that honoring just comes an ease. There's a relaxation, an exhale, a loss of tension. There's an enhanced ability to go with the flow, which is part of what you were trying to teach yourself in this second lifetime. But it was a little more rigid, I think, or structured than truly relaxing and letting go. Again, it was like following checklists. And it was like, oh, no, you stay over there. You don't fit in my worldview. I'm going to be over here. So in this instance, you really are tending to your own garden, but with more freedom. You're looking at your core wants. You're looking at your core needs. You're looking at your core values. And that in turn, by handling that on your own, you're going to be making room for others to come closer. You're not going to be holding them at arm's length anymore. And you're going to attract the kind of relationships you want into your life. You soften, and so do others. You know, when I taught school, I found if you used a really excited and hyper kind of voice, the kids would get really excited and hyper. And if you made your voice small and calm, they would start whispering back to you. And so there's this mirroring that's happening. You soften, they're going to soften. You allow for them to come closer, so they're going to come closer. Your walls get lowered, and so did theirs. There's more trust all the way around. There's more room for celebration. There's more room for delight. So your advice is to focus on your core wants, your core needs, your desires, your pleasures, the things that make you tick. And that may mean getting more in touch with your physical vessel for some of you. It may also be about tending to what lies beneath. Now, this isn't getting lost and so far separated from others that you're repeating the Sun in Gemini. So if you are kind of going on that inner journey, remember, it's not about pushing others away. You tend to your own garden with the idea in mind of eventually inviting other people in. And they will show up group too. So slow down. See the beauty in all things, in the little moments of the day, with each breath. And there will be a quiet joy that starts to grow from the inside, and it radiates outward for all to see. So this is about pleasure. This is about focusing on what you need, taking care of that business so that with the softening, others can approach you a little bit more. All right. So as we start to work on that, we start to make room for new energies, which is going to in turn help flip this script. And it's just weird, the last two, I think, also blocks were also in reverse when they came out. So we have, I am sacral. Perfect. That's very Venusian. And I am patient. I don't think that you had patience in spades in the last lifetime. Might have been forced to, but I feel like there was such a rebellious quality there. You were kind of, I don't know, boiling a little bit under the surface. So sacral energy is Venusian energy. It's sensual, it's creative, it's very free. There is a very freed aspect that you will discover on the other side of clearing these past life energies out, or just cutting that cord. While you may have had a type of freedom here with the Sun and Gemini lifestyle, again, we talked about this, it's the swing of a pendulum from one extreme to another, from the rigidity over here to something that it's just like the gate's open, I'm bolting, and it's a reaction. This is what I don't want. I'm moving from something. I'm trying to avoid something. And that's not necessarily a true understanding. Yes, this experience did heal aspects of this lifetime, but it wasn't you consciously choosing freedom for yourself. It was more like, I just gotta go. This was an unconscious kind of thing. And I feel like when you get through this huge weight is going to be lifted off of you. You're going to be much more light, much more joyful, much more creative, and much more present with everyone. And also your sensuality is going to be dialed up about 19 notches here. So enjoy that. And additionally, there will be a strong patience. And I feel like, again, you may have lacked this in the other lifetimes. A willingness to wait for what you want. There's nothing submissive about this at all, because you do have that fierce quality to you as well. Patience is warm, it's unhurried, which is also very Venusian. You take your time, you're unconcerned with what other people think. You're not cold, you're not dismissive, in the slightest. It's embracing the divine timing and the understanding that everyone is right where they are right now. And that's okay. So group 2, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here with us. I have big love and gratitude for you as always. And if you're so inclined, please give this video a like and share it with others who may similarly find it entertaining or of value. And if you have not, we would love for you to join our community. So please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. I tend to upload videos about once a week. It's usually Tuesday through the end of the week possibly. And if you'd like to support other members of the Group 2 crew, please leave your favorite creative emoji, creative expression emoji, whatever that looks like for you, or maybe toss in the Venus emoji in the comment box and share a bit about your experience so others can find the support of your words. Much love to you, Group 2. Thank you for being here all the way to the end. I love that. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, Group 3. If you picked this piece of polished blue kyanite, then welcome to your past life energies reading. I love that stone. It's so pretty. If you skipped the intro, what we're doing here today is examining the lingering influence that 2 of your past lives have on you in your current lifetime. You may already be aware of these past lives on some level. If it's not a conscious awareness, then there's some kind of resonance, a little energetic tug, something that's sticky. It may be that you find something familiar seems to kind of pop up like deja vu. It comes out of nowhere and it tickles the edges of your brain. You may have dreamed of these lifetimes before. Some of you may have already had a past life reading and find that it's completely relevant to what we talk about today. Or this could be completely new for you, but you will likely recognize the energy that's coming forward, and then any associated blocks or any kind of impact that these particular past life energies may have on your experience today as a whole. So we'll take a look at these energies and how they're impacting you in this lifetime. The impact of these lifetimes may include lessons that you've learned and their corresponding strengths or gifts, or they could be in the form of lessons that still need to be completed, or you may find that there are blocks that have been created within your energetic field from these experiences. So what we'll do is then examine how to transform or transmute some of those lingering energies as they're coming up. And if something's popping up, it's always a sign that, you know, it's a prime time to take action if you're noticing them. And then as you process and release the blocks, what are the gifts and the new blessings that are coming from this release? You know, what are you making room for? And I do want to state too that I don't want to try and necessarily pin down time periods for this. There hasn't been a lot of that with the first couple of groups. What's more important is the energies that are coming through, and then perhaps the characteristics as well. There are so many people who are watching this video, and so if we try to nail down time or specific circumstances, like, or places, it may not resonate as much. So we're just focusing on what's in common. However, if you have a period of history that you're drawn to and a place on earth that feels familiar, and you find that it is in sync with what's going on, please let us know about it in the comment box below. This is a very unique reading compared to some of the ones I've done in the past, and I'm super excited to get started, so we are going to begin. Okay, so your very first lifetime is it's Sun in Aquarius, and it says idealism on this card, so that is our starting point today. So what is being emphasized to me? This is a really unique energy. It's very intense. Like, my voice wants to be heard kind of a thing. Your character is very unique. And that's coming through more than maybe even like particular events right now. I think this lifetime you had a very strong and very particular way of being. You were discerning to your own tastes, but I feel like others would probably label it as being picky. So what I want you to do is just right now think of the most stubborn person you know. Okay? Do you have them in your head? You, in this lifetime, were 10 times more stubborn than that person you're thinking of. I feel like you definitely held on to grudges. But underneath that propensity to do so, you had this incredibly sensitive heart, group 3. You felt things on a very deep level, but you managed to keep most of that under wraps. You may have suppressed your emotions and thought you were pretty darn good at hiding things, but I feel like those closest to you could see right through that facade. Your heart would bruise easily. I'm almost seeing like a piece of fruit, like a peach or like an apple, a banana. And because you have this tenderness there, you feel wondrously childlike, and that wound would cause you to retreat fairly easily back into yourself, to disappear, to avoid, or to hold on to grudges. You know, so that way you can distance yourself and kind of lick your wounds and try to find a little safety and security for yourself to take power back. You were very eclectic in your tastes, super unique, very artistic, very creative, and probably very attractive. Like, I'm seeing a face with just like these brilliant eyes. I think your eyes were like a huge feature for you. And maybe some of you had a dimple. I don't know. I said I wasn't going to go deep into things, but this is what's coming through. Nice little smile. Definitely an artist's eye. And I feel like, oh, and I have to go back and talk about hair. Good hair. Okay. And I feel like what you did as a career, or in your studies, wasn't what you did as a hobby, because you've got this artistic side. So I think these hobbies that you had might have surprised some people because they're almost feminine, while your career feels more masculine. It feels fast-paced. It feels like it's full of adrenaline. There's a lot of dudes around. I want to say that the energy feels like it's like first responders of some kind, like police or firefighters or paramedics or doctors. There's something with military maybe. It's along those lines. And so you'd go to work in this energy all day long. And then you go home and you would do something like needlepoint, or you would make wedding invitations, or you paint, or you play an instrument, or you bake cakes, or all of those things. There's something very fine, candle making, soap making, something very fine, something very precise, and it's almost soothing. It's a way of balancing out your energies and grounding yourself. Now, I'm giving you some examples. This does feel like more of a modern life to me, past life, but again, you could also take what I'm giving you and we could apply those hobbies and shift them. The point is, they're more, I want to say refined, or they involve fine motor skills. And so you can put that back in time for whatever that needs to be. Same with the career itself. The careers likely could be different if this is like further in the past. So it's whatever resonates for you. So don't take these as set in stone. These hobbies are fine. They're precise. They're soothing for you. I feel like it's a way of balancing out your energies and grounding yourself after these like tough days. And you might have even been well known for one of these hobbies, and you might have even made a little money off of it. Like I do this. I'm a firefighter all day professionally, and then I bake cakes at night. So whatever you did it well. You're somebody who's going to put 100% dedication and effort into it. You have got, your mind is like a steel cage. It's like on lockdown for things. So you have an eagle's eye for details. You are not going to miss anything. People would tell you that you couldn't do something, and that would just fire you up, and you would prove to them that not only can you do it, but you're going to do it better than anybody else. Better than anyone could anticipate. Now, coming into this, I do feel like you have some pretty serious walls up around you. You feel like an adult. That's what I'm channeling right now. And you needed control because of that secretly soft heart. And I do feel loneliness. I feel isolation. But you never let anybody see you sweat that. You threw yourself into whatever it was you were working on. It's almost like you get blinders up like a horse would wear. And so you might have been a little neglectful of some relationships at times. Not because you're meaning to hurt anyone's feelings. It's just that you get excited, like on a track. I know, like, I can be guilty of that when I get kind of in the work zone. You're always busy. You threw yourself into like whatever you're working on. I do see you as having partners, but I feel like you're almost enigmatic. They can never quite figure you out. Like, what makes this person tick? And they can't quite keep up with you. And I do feel like you may have moved on from people rather quickly. It's almost like, oh, I'm with this person here, and now I've got this horse and I'm running off with this person. So you may have, in some cases, had people kind of lined up, ready to go. It's kind of like you had one toe out. I don't sense there's a shortage of interested parties. I'm being pulled back to that attractive quality. You're definitely a firecracker. And I want to call you Cherry Bomb. You were definitely a firecracker, and I want to give you the nickname Cherry Bomb. Isn't there a song? It's like an older song. It's about that. I can't think of the name of the people that did it. I will look it up and link it if you want to listen to it. But it feels like this is an appropriate nickname for you. And I feel like this lifetime came to an end at a time that was kind of young. So we still, this cherry bomb energy. It's like very youthful. You're not like a kid. You're not a child. But your lifespan should have been at least double. So it's maybe like you're entering into midlife. And so for whatever time period that is, say this was in the 60s or something, somewhere in like the United States. I don't know. I don't know what the life expectancy would be. Say it's like 80 or something, or 90. So you might have been like 40 or 45, and then boom. It feels like a surprise, whatever happened. It took you by surprise. You had some time to think about it, so I wouldn't say that it was an accident. It was more like an illness came up and got you before you realized what was going on. I think there was a lot of softening that happened at the end, too. Like there was a lowering of your walls, and the fierceness, that cherry bomb energy that you were known for relaxed, and you finally let some people back in who had been wanting to connect with you. And I think there's some regret for pushing others away or for the lost time you experienced with them. I do feel like you got to say your goodbyes to the people who mattered the most to you, but there were still some regrets. And I feel like you would have likely have had lives since this past life with some of these individuals. It's like you get that second chance to go around because it felt like there's some unfinished business or there were second chances to live and to learn. And so I want to say, oh my gosh, I was talking about firefighting and look, there's water being poured out. So I wonder if that really is a thing. I would say the energies of determination, willpower, aesthetics, intelligence, drive, fierceness, rebellion, like originality, did I say uniqueness, control, compromise, forgiveness, rebellion. I said rebellion, regret, and love. Those are big themes for this lifetime. I think we'll be visiting this again. That seems to be the pattern with most of these. And I'm going to hop over now into the second lifetime, which is Mercury in Libra and influence. This other past life is definitely influenced by this one. And it's like you have the chance to explore partnerships a bit more than the first. It's almost like, here's your free pass. It almost feels like a game. This is interesting. Things are way more open. It's like, try again. You definitely don't have the walls or the boundaries that were so firmly rooted in the first lifetime and which kept others at bay. It's like, we're going to make this a little easier this time, just to try to, so you can explore things. It's like you're in a container. And so you feel definitely less wounded, you feel less jaded in this lifetime, you're still busy. A bit more quick to laugh, you're a bit more quick to connect with others. And I feel like you use this time to better get to know them, and a major theme of this life may have been about bonding in ways that you didn't have the opportunity to the sun in Aquarius lifetime. You do feel also in this lifetime to be well educated and intelligent, much like you were in the first one, but you're happier and you're more open and you're a little less hurt. Now, that doesn't stop you from experiencing some painful social issues or experiences which may have been contracts on your part in between lifetimes to help you learn some of the things you missed out in that other lifetime. It's almost like you organize this, like, I want this, this, and this in this lifetime, so I can learn about other people better. I don't want to be so hurt. I don't want to have walls up so much. Let's make things a little easier. This feels like a life of school. I don't know, learning, and it's easier. It's a lot easier than this. And I almost see it as, it's like this shape that has no definitive edges or details for me. Like it's meant to be a buffer, almost like a respite from this lifetime. And it could be it has more meaning than this, than what I'm being shown, but we're only meant to talk about it in this context as like learning. Yeah. Influence here. So we have the snake, we've got the quick tongue that's right there. Quick tongue, quick words. So you may have been manipulated a little bit in this lifetime. That's what I'm getting like with the social stuff. We have Adam and Eve here, the snake, the Garden of Eden. You may have been quick to fall into the ways of whatever group of people was around you at the time. That may be part of what this like kind of almost social experiment is for you. You may have also experienced or practiced manipulating others as well. So it's like there's a back and forth. Like, I want this to happen, and then this is going to happen. And when I use the word manipulation, it's a loaded word. A lot of people think, oh, that sounds really negative. But I want you to know it doesn't feel like something major. It's like little white lies. There may be some things on a bigger scale. But you're not like a full-blown con artist or something like that. This is more of an exploration of influence. What does it mean to influence someone? What does it mean to be influenced yourself? It's about connection. It's about collaboration and communication. And I do think part of this has to do with not being able to feel in control of relationships, which is something that you may have struggled with in this first past lifetime. So instead you fabricated walls, you kept yourself busy so you didn't really feel your feelings, and you kept other people out. You made it feel like you were always firmly in charge of everything and everyone and all of the things happening around you, which I think is part of the reason your illness took you by surprise. You were not expecting that. Now, this Mercury in Libra lifetime feels like a quiet exploration of relationships and what it means to influence. Like, where do we draw the line? What is considered manipulation? How do I manipulate others? How do others manipulate me? How can I communicate my needs more effectively? And because this is Libra energy, there is a balance to this. It's never too much. It's not too little. You know, we're not going overboard here. It's just enough to help you learn. You're just dipping your toes in the water. Unlike this is like plunging head first in this first lifetime. You know, again, the water. This was healing. This helped to heal some of the lingering issues from this lifetime because there was a lot there. There was a lot you were carrying. Learning about both sides of influence, being influenced and influencing others was a big part of it. Yeah, this is your school lifetime. This is your learning lifetime. It's almost like being at university where you're studying other people. There was a lot more reflection in this lifetime. You know, the same big, beautiful intellect that you had, but you're more in touch with being human, being hurt, being loved. And you honestly feel like you did a really good job with balancing both these lifetimes out. You know, both of them. Just notice we have the line here and the line here. Different parts of a whole. Yeah, this lifetime was loud, it's fast, it's at times. This one's more of a quiet study. And I think the biggest energies that may be present with you today are those of, from this lifetime, are like observation and intelligence and wit and influence and openness and balance. Communication, quite possibly as well. I don't know how I missed that one. Okay, what I'd like to do now is look at how these particular energies are impacting you in your current lifetime in terms of blessings or blocks. So our bees, I've been talking about the bees. And then we'll also look at how to transform the blocks. And when I talk about like cutting cords or ties to these past lives, we're not cutting out the blessings or the boons that you're given. I almost think of those as you've integrated some lessons already. You may have done healing work in a past lifetime. And it's almost like those are the new energies that popped up for you that you get to take with you. And sometimes we just have gifts because we have gifts, and that's okay. You get to enjoy them. You get to keep them. They're not going anywhere. We're just looking at some of the more... I don't want to say negative energy, but the energy that is creating blocks for you, all right? Or that doesn't belong here, the extra stuff. And so for the Sun in Aquarius lifetime, we have Judgment in reverse, which I'll turn upright so you can see what it looks like. And we have the Emperor upright. I say upright because everything so far in all the other readings has been in reverse. So I feel like the blocks that Spirit wants to emphasize now are related to this first lifetime. It's really not so much this, because again, this I see as a container lifetime. So I feel like everything we have is really rooted in this. Both of those cards are majors, the Emperor and Judgment. So they play a very strong role within that lifetime, and quite possibly this one as well for you. Now with Judgment, I'm being pulled back to this tender heart that you have. You know, this fear of being ostracized, perhaps of being judged and removed and hurt, you know, not being part of the group, being isolated. It's a me versus them kind of a thing within this lifetime. And perhaps there's some judgment on your part, but it's only because you have this sensitive heart underneath everything. You're way more tender-hearted than you let anyone believe. But again, I suspect that those closest to you knew it. I doubt that they talked with you about it because you have this very strong pride. And I don't think you were willing to show a single ounce of sensitivity. You kept everything bottled in because to do so otherwise might look weak, or you might be afraid that you would crack. There might be times where maybe you had like a little admittance or something with somebody close to you, but again, it's just mostly this is staying on the down low. You may carry some of these same energies or sensitivities in this lifetime. So you may have noticed that you have walls up between you and others. Whether that's on your part or on theirs, because you again could be attracting relationships that are similar to what you experienced in the past, and it may not be you who's putting the walls up, but it might be other people. You may struggle with letting others see the real you. You may not be comfortable in sharing emotions or sensitivity, or it's like you're trying to get other people to do that with you, but they won't. You may feel like you're often on the outside looking in. You may find yourself withdrawing from others when there's pressure or not quite knowing how to handle that. And with the Emperor, I want to say this is where that stubborn and like fierce streak come into play, a sort of like it's my way or the highway. And in this past life, this was your kingdom. You made sure of that. You ruled it. It's just that there weren't a lot of people around you to support you, and this feels very lonely. So you may have had a stubborn or determined nature, or you may, well, currently, it could be back then, but now as well. You may operate by like a fiercely principled set of ideals. You may keep your contacts down to a minimum. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. Your blessings are likely intelligence and attractiveness and an eye for aesthetics, a strong talent in something that requires either fine motor skills or is perhaps a little unique, or both of those things. You're also likely quite determined, excellent at goal setting, and from this second lifetime, I'd wager you better understand other people than you might have. I think that you may do well in small groups or one-on-one conversations, or you've discovered that you can be quite persuasive when you'd like to achieve something. Also, you may be very good with organization and cleanliness as well. Some of you may have like some Virgo aspects, I want to say, like checking those boxes off. All right, so these are some of the blocks and some of the boons. I'm sure I didn't get everything, but that's kind of what I'm picking up right now that are originating from these past lives. And what I'd like to do is look at our transformation card and that action that you can take that will help dissolve some of these blocks or cords to the past lives. silver. That's so cool. Kind of looks like this, kind of looks like a snake, yeah. Like that. Okay. I'm going to get a sip of my drink because I've been talking for a long time. Okay. So this particular card, as I recall, it talks about a need to engage with the energies at hand. Accepting that things aren't perfect or where we'd like them to be, and then to work with what is there to take it to the next level. This, as I recall, it has some pretty good stuff in the guidebook. I'm going to jump to that. Here. Silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. So that's what this is about. Looking in the mirror, a reflective quality there, and taking some time out and really examining where we have any habits or patterns or blocks. Perhaps some of them would be ones that we spoke about already, and seeing where we can polish those up a bit. There might also be other things that you're noticing about yourself and going, you know, there's some things that need to change there. Shifting behavior, just one thing, letting one thing go. It might be about letting a few more people in. It may be about taking care of your heart so you're more willing to be seen underneath any masks that you have. Silver is so shiny and it's so reflective, and that's where you want to begin, by searching your reflection, your own inner workings, and discovering how these inner impulses govern your outer actions, and then by that, then your experiences as well. And this is also what stood out to me right here. Silver wants to build relationships. That's amazing. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So Silver wants to build relationships. So perhaps you start with this relationship with yourself. That's the priority. And as you work there, you begin to shift so that other relationships also shift in turn. See what you're building and creating from this point forward. You know, if this is a necklace, what links are you including on your necklace? Who's there with you? Who's next to you? Who's beside you on the other side? What is part of your story? Who's part of your story? You have the control. You're the one that's the metalsmith. You're the one that's writing the tale and making the jewelry. But you can let others into your story. So you may have done some healing work already in your Mercury and Libra lifetime. This transformative work just requires reflection and building. Small steps, nothing flashy, just a start. Every link connects, and every step forward is a step. It counts, even if it seems so small. And as you do this, you begin to shift any lingering energies around this old lifetime and blocks surrounding some of the energies that we spoke about earlier. This is about using that reflective mirror and looking within, because that's where the answers are. Not by focusing outward on others, but by building up your own heart and soul. So this to me is just like, take that pause, take that moment. You're not going to find the answers looking outward. This will be an individualized, almost prescription for each one of you who's watching this. You will know what you need to do to flip the script. So start small and start by reflecting. I wish I had something that was a little more definitive that way, but I think it's as simple as that. The other thing you might want to do is just check in with your guides. If that's something that you're comfortable doing, ask them for a little bit of help, perhaps in finding the underpinnings of where you want to look first. Yeah, they talk in this guidebook about like silver it needs to be polished. Like gold doesn't need to be polished. It is what it is. Silver needs that participation from us, and it needs that work. It needs that little bit of elbow grease. And so this is about you. You're going to apply the elbow grease. You're the one that needs to sit and figure out, where do I need to make this shift? And again, they can be very, very small to start. Okay, So we're going to look at some of the energies then as you start to make this shift. What are you making room for as we kind of cut out the tethers that we had before from those past lives? And we have, I'm vulnerable. That's perfect. And I am divine. Great. All right. So to me, this is pretty self-explanatory. One of the energies that will be entering your life is this very much needed vulnerability. And with it comes allowance and being seen and taking risks. You are not hiding, you're not avoiding anything. And that's what's missing from this first lifetime. The energy of vulnerability is exactly what's needed to balance that out. Yeah. And when the energy blocks are cleared there, you're going to have more access to this vulnerability, and it will open you up to so much more from your others and from yourself. You will have a deeper access to your own heart space. Your needs and your wants are going to be much more clear, and your relationships across the board are going to deepen. You can trust others and you can let them in. And with it, chasing on its heels, we have this idea of divinity here. You know, seeing the divine in everybody, which is going to further help you move past any walls that may still be there. This is going to be emphasizing unity in your life, because you're going to recognize the oneness in everyone, the oneness in your own heart. Everyone's equal, everyone's beautiful, and things will feel much easier and lighter for you beyond this energy. Group 3, it's like letting out a breath when you've been holding it and then pulling in that fresh oxygen. Getting a much needed rest after working so hard at something for so long, getting that nap in. Much better connections with others. There's less separation and there's more love all the way around. And it's of your own creation and your own agency. Group 3, I'm sending you some big hugs. That's what I have for you today, friends. Thank you so much for being here with us. I have big love and gratitude for you as always. And if you're so inclined, please give this video a like and share it with others who may find it entertaining or of value. And if you haven't yet, we'd love for you to join this community. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. I tend to upload videos about once a week. It's usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Fridays. If you'd like to support other members of the Group 3 crew, please leave a snake emoji in the comment box below and share a bit about your experience so that others can find the support of your words. Much love to you, Group 3. Thanks for being here all the way to the end. I love that. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends. Hello, Group 4. If you picked the Sulfur, then welcome to your past lives energy reading. If you skip the intro, what we're doing here today is examining any lingering influence that one or two of your past lives has on you in your current lifetime. You may already be aware of these past lives. If you don't have this conscious awareness, there may be something that's kind of teasing the edges of your brain a little bit. There's some kind of energetic resonance that might feel unique or sticky. Something's familiar to you. You may have dreamed of these lifetimes. You may have had a past life reading that you find is relevant to some of the things we talk about today, or the information coming through may be entirely new for you, but you will likely recognize the energies that are coming forward, the blocks or impact that these energies may have on your experience today. So what we're going to do is take a look at these energies, how they're impacting you in this lifetime, and the impact of these lifetimes may include lessons that you've learned and their corresponding strengths or gifts, or they could be in the form of lessons that still need to be completed or ones that are creating blocks within your energetic field. So we'll examine how to transform or transmute these energies as they are popping up, because if they are, it means it's time to give them a little attention, and that's going to help move things forward. It means you're ready to let go of some of them. As you're processing and releasing the blocks, we look at the gifts or blessings that you're making room for, what's coming next for you. And I do want to state too that these all have been different, the lives that are coming forward. I try not to give too much information about time periods or specific circumstances or locations more than anything else, because I want to state too that with these, they've all been very, very different, and what has not come through for most of them have been time periods or places. Time and specific circumstances or places, that's going to be in flux with each person who's watching this. There's so many people who watch these, And so what is going to be the important thing, the common thread between each of you, is the characteristics and the energy here. So that is what we're focusing on today. Keep in mind too, if you find something's resonating for you, if you have a period of history you're drawn to, a place on earth that feels familiar and you know that's connected to this, let us know about it. You found your resonant energy. That's fantastic. Tell us about it in the comment box below, because I'd love to hear what is different for each one of you. So this is a very unique reading compared to some of the ones we've done in the past, and I am really excited to get started for you. So we're going to take a look at your cards. Okay, so your first lifetime that we're looking at, the first past lifetime, is signified by this revenge card, and we have Mars and Scorpio. So some pretty big energy there. And when I read these, I'm not reading like what the card means. I'm not necessarily reading astrology. It's just a story starts to come forward. And this is intense for sure. We have a lot of ambition in this lifetime, a lot of drive. And this to me feels like sheer willpower. It's being determined. It's being able to confront absolutely anything. What is there for the taking, is what I feel like. And if I tap into this at all, I get almost hot-blooded. And so what I'm seeing is you, and I wasn't getting gender for a lot of these lifetimes, maybe like a hint, likely a young man in this instance though. You're likely a young man who's been taken under the wing of a wealthy family, particularly the patriarch, the father figure there. And you as this young person is late teens, I want to say, or early 20s. You are not blood, but you are friends with the older man's son. Like good friends, maybe childhood friends even, but you are not of their world at all. You come from some place that's much more hard. And what's weird is the father, there's a preference for you. I almost see you as like you're like this interloper. But there's a preference for you versus his own flesh and blood, for his own child. There are other children, but it's this particular relationship, this bond you have. It might be he's the oldest. I don't know that he is in all cases, but you are preferred. And it drives a wedge between you and your friend. You see the father's dominating personality and the way he takes what he wants. It doesn't bother you though. Not in the way it bothers his child. His child feels more upset about this. Like, he doesn't feel like he's part of the family. He's almost disgusted by his dad's actions, but he profits from them because they have money. You've just come from different stock. You've endured hardships beyond what your friend has. You've been hardened and weathered by the world. I almost see this man like just putting his arm around you, and there's all this opulence around you. Money. Oh my gosh, these people have money. Old money. And this man takes advantage of your position. He takes advantage of your lack of money. He takes advantage of the familial hardships that you've gone through, and he uses you to his own end. He molds you into his lackey. That's what he wants. That's what he needs. And I feel like you change so much in what feels like a very short period of time, a relatively short period of time. Things are done that you would not have done before. Things are said that you can't take back. It's almost like you're staying with a family over, like, for a summer or a summer vacation, and you go back a different person than when you started. It doesn't feel like it's a long time. You are permanently changed from this experience with this family, and it alters the trajectory of your life. You're elevated in a lot of senses. You have things that you never had before. You have access to things. You have access to more education. You have access to experiences that you never would have had before. But you have a lot of losses with this as well. Your empathy feels squashed to me. You don't speak that language. You speak the language of action and movement and momentum, and down the road even violence. Any sensitivity that you once had was snuffed out. And the face that you wind up showing to the world, it's scarred and it's calloused, and its emotional expression and your name, your aura, almost ignites fear in other people. You have been groomed for this, though. It's not your fault. You have been groomed for this. You are very good at what you do. You get things done when nobody else can. So there's these energies here. This almost feels like a movie to me. We've got the energies of fear. We've got ruthlessness. We've got drive and willpower and family and generations. Fathers and sons, like domination. There's money. There's ambition in here and determination. I think that's actually been a running theme through most of these, is like this idea of determination. But all of these things play a role in this particular lifetime. I think we're going to be getting more information from this, possibly as we look at the other cards. This lifetime is probably the most unique out of all the ones I've read thus far, because it's about emotion and like dominance and energy rather than specific events or identifiers. It's almost like we don't want to focus on some of the specific things that were done. It's just like we're focusing on this idea of this person almost grooming you and taking advantage of you, and what you became from that. Okay, so I do want to move on to the next past life. This is so different. We have inspiration, and this is Mercury in Pisces. Oh, you're a tender little thing. This is such a 180. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. So this lifetime is like intuitive, and your empathy comes back like tenfold. Oh my goodness. We've got communication here, and it's like you had one experience and then you went through an entirely different lifetime to experience contrast. And I want to say that your soul maybe felt like this was a little too intense, or there was too much assertion of will. And so it's like, we need some time to recover from that. We're going to make this lifetime about being receptive and open and leaning into other people. You are so intuitive in this lifetime. I want to say that you keep company with poets and writers and artists, and it feels like it's a big city that you're part of, but it's a tight community. So I see like late night discussions and drinking and dancing, and you just sparkle in this energy. So definitely adult, but you're on the young side. And that might not be for everybody. It could be actually different stages of life. I don't think that matters. But you're sparkly. And you do have a love interest. You're a bit of a muse to this person. And I do feel you're big enough, and this person is talented enough. There's something done with you in it somewhere. That may be somewhere in history. I don't know. A piece of artwork, or like little sketches. Maybe they weren't meant to be anything, but it's like they ended up in the family somewhere. Somebody's got them. Pieces of writing or poems. There's maybe a song that you inspired something, like a piece of pottery, or there's something with their name on it somewhere. You're just very sweet and very captivating. Yeah, enough so that you have this, like, I'm seeing like, I think that's, is that the sun? The moon? I don't even know what that is on the card, but I'm thinking of the moon and like its tides, right? Because I'm thinking about intuition. That's you. You pull people in. And yes, again, a big enough pull, big enough inspiration that there's something out there, I think, for some of you connected to this lifetime. And that is physically out there, or there's a record of it somewhere. Your love interest, they want to capture your essence, is kind of what I feel like. They just recorded it in some way. They want to drink it all in. Maybe there's a drink that was named after you, or like a recipe that was created. So you're not loud. You're quiet, which is interesting because that also parallels this past life. You didn't need your words then because you had other stuff. You had fists. You had a knife at one point. You had a presence. You have a presence in this life too. But it's receptive, and it's charming, and it's witty, and it's wonderful. But because of your quietness in both of these lifetimes, people like to project their wants onto you and their fears. It's something that you have in common. And I feel like some people who are introverted may actually understand this. Oh, notice too, I'm just seeing this. The shapes are almost mirroring each other, the way this person's facing this way, this person's facing this way, and they're kind of like central to the card. We're holding up a severed head here, and here we have the moon. Yeah, there's a lot of mirroring, but I think what tends to happen sometimes with people who are a little more introverted, a little more quiet, is others tend to project what they want or need in that relationship onto them. And maybe that happens in every relationship, but I think you might be kind of aware of that happening. Goomba is really chiming in here. I apologize. I told the other groups I'm dog watching today. We have Goomba here, and his best friend is visiting, and so they're really excited. And so there may be a little extra message for you in the barking there. I'll try to edit it out as much as possible. I feel like in this lifetime you say something like, nothing can last, and the love affair's over. It's done. You pull away, you sense yourself losing boundaries with this person, or you sense like a need to control, which may remind you of this lifetime, like being controlled by the father of your friend. So it's possible there's a bit of an age difference with this, or just that aspect of control, and you need to kind of pull away. Yeah, I don't know, there's a sweet sadness to you, like a little bit of grief, a little bit of sorrow. Like, things are fleeting, time is fleeting, things are intangible. It's part of like what draws other people to you. But I do feel you managed to kind of like pull yourself away and move to another place. It's smaller, it's quieter. Breathe like the fresh air in. Might be another country. I think you and this person, because you meet somebody else, and this other person I'm getting, like, you may not speak the same language, but they're artistic. And this match feels way more equal to me. There's an intensity to them, like a fire in them, and a sweetness on top of it that it's just more appropriate for you. And you're happy because you've taken the reins, you've made your own choices, and you've told your own story, something that you did not do here. So the energies coming through from this, and I want to say to you guys who are together than the rest of your days. And I think it was a unique pairing because, like, yeah, there's definitely not marriage. It's just like we're living together. Not that that's like super unique, but I feel like you guys were maybe a little bit different, but accepted. So the energies from this lifetime may include domination, inspiration, art or artistic ability, beauty, submission, boundaries, empathy, healing, and just cycles. And what I'd like to do now is just take a look at how these particular energies are impacting you in your current lifetime in terms of your blessings and then your blocks. And what we'll do is examine how to kind of cut the cords to the blocks in particular so that you can move forward with the blessings. So the blessings aren't going anywhere. We're just looking at how to transform some of the blocks. And so our blocks, we have the Page of Swords, which I would associate with this first lifetime. And come here. And then we have the Two of Swords in reverse, which I would associate with the Inspiration lifetime. Okay. So to me, this Page of Swords, it literally looks like you from the past life. This is almost kind of like the young man I was seeing. Maybe shorter hair a little bit. It's like your old identity is stepping forward and being like, hello, this is me. This is who I am. You're very fierce. You had to be, though. I don't know. I feel bad for you. I wouldn't want to be around you necessarily, but I feel bad for you. There may be some lingering energies of mistrust here, or you may find that you have issues within your family. There could be issues you notice in your family with a father or son, or, you know, kind of going through the paternal side of the family. Not knowing who to trust within the family unit. And for some of you, there may be a fear of abandonment. You may also experience discomfort with authority or autonomy and find others overstep their boundaries with you, or you may be the one who oversteps. Some of the blessings that may be present from this particular lifetime include leadership skills, public speaking, or using your voice to deliver a message. We've got the sword here that's associated with air and intellect and making decisions. You have an ability to think on your feet, so to speak, and you may also have a strong wish or set of beliefs surrounding family, such as knowing what you don't want to do with your own family, or maybe you choose not to have children, or knowing the kinds of things that you would do exactly. You feel very, very proactive around these choices. There also may be, if I didn't say it before, a protective streak that runs through you as well. Now, our second lifetime, the Mercury in Pisces lifetime, this may influence you in terms of decision making. So you may often feel like you're being pulled in two different directions. You may rely on others to call the shots for you. And that's interesting to me how that mirrors what happened with the father-son relationship in the first lifetime. And again, we have another sword card here where the figure must go within to find the answers and then to make those decisions. So you may find yourself going along with the crowd at various times. Your heart wants one thing, the head says something else. Similarly to the first past life, you may also have some trust issues around matters of the heart. You may not trust yourself to make decisions and feel like you need to invite others in to help you. There are many inherent blessings from this past life, and one may be that you've got a good sense of style. There's wit and charm, and you have a radiance about you. You also may have strong intuitive bends. I mean, again, we've got the, did I say bends? You have a strong intuitive bend to yourself. We've got the moon here on both of these cards, so possible intuitive gifts here. For some of you, I'm being told to talk about dreaming. You may receive answers through your dreams. You may find inspiration in the ordinary and the everyday beyond what other people do. I feel like you walk from moment to moment seeing all the potential and all the beauty that life has to offer, which is just beautiful. There may be a heightened sense of gratitude for you within you as opposed to other people, and gentleness with some of you, a kindness and interest in others, but also some of you may be a little quiet. It's as though you can turn on the charm when you're with a group, but then you need to be alone to recharge your batteries. It helps you, being this way can help you bridge relationships with many different kinds of people. So you can hang with the extroverts for a little bit, and then you kind of go, recharge quietly, and you can sit with others who are quiet as well. So I think you present as a little mysterious to others and even otherworldly, perhaps. All right, friends, so those are some of the blocks and some of the boons originating from these past lives. And what I'd like to do now is examine any action or transformative quality that you can take that will help dissolve these blocks or these cords to the more difficult aspects of these past lives. Your transformation card is, oh my gosh, that's so pretty, Sun's Splendor. So definitely Leonic, and it reminds me of the Sun card in Tarot. So something that may help loosen some of the lingering energies here is just to sit with what is and to allow it, but don't overthink it. So spend time focusing on what brings you joy, on what lights you up, the splendor that we have here, and not focus so much maybe on some of the more like heavy aspects that might be back there. In those energies, or maybe what's heavy around you right now. Don't overthink things too much. So what I might do is actually go back and listen to some of the blessings or the boons that we talked about here, and actually write them down. Write down what resonates for you and do a little reflection on the positive gifts that you possess. And so add to that, what other things do you have specifically that, maybe aren't tied to these lives? And as I recall too, this card also talks about like giving and altruism, perhaps gratitude. Gratitude, I find, and laughter are two of the pathways that we can most easily connect to spirit with, or to spirit by, and also to ourselves. And so those are one of the quickest ways that we can kind of turn our energy up and kind of get into this way of being. So I want to say that this card especially resonates here with this inspiration lifetime that we talked about. In fact, we've got the moon, I think, and the sun here, and we've got, two sides of the same coin, basically. So I want to mention the song Thank You. It's a cover by Tori Amos, and it's really light and it's lovely. I'll stick it in the description box, a link to it. And it's in the vein of how some others may have seen you in this lifetime, and quite possibly in this lifetime too, right? And so it might also just make you a little happy, that song, just to listen to it. It might make you feel good. And the title is Thank You. So it brings to mind the idea of gratitude. So perhaps a gratitude journal or a random act of kindness just once a day. Giving without strings attached, giving without acknowledgement, like being private about things. That may be a course that will help to shift these energies a little bit in your favor. It's like the more thankfulness that you share, the more you attract radiance, and then you have all kinds of things that are starting to like pop open at your feet. Little flowers, big flowers, little miracles and big miracles. And it's just time. It's time to allow the warmth of the sun to kiss your skin and just to soak up beautiful energy. You've had some tough energies you've had to navigate in your time. And you can start small. You can start small here. It doesn't need to be big to get into this healing. So some of the energies that you are making room for right now through this transformation are the energies of security and vibrancy. Oh my gosh, this is perfect for this lifetime. I feel like if we're playing tic-tac-toe, there's a winner there. And we have the security coming in as well that you need to give you more of that stable foundation to go forward. So the vibrancy, yeah, it's just this natural extension of sun's splendor and then even that inspiration lifetime. It's a truly natural state for you to be in. And the security is just huge. It's a big change for you and a welcome one at that. And I think you'll find connection and trust lie within these energies, and that things do seem a bit easier on the other side of it all. So just little messages there for you. I like this. It's green. We see the growth there. We can see the sparkly colors right here. There's a lot of beautiful things coming your way, Group 4. And that is what I have for you today. So thank you so much for being here with us. And as always, I have big love and gratitude for you. So if you're so inclined as well, please give this video a like and share it with others who may find it entertaining or of value. And if you haven't yet, we would love for you to join our community. So please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. I do tend to upload videos about once a week, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, sometimes Fridays. If you'd like to support other members of the Group 4 crew, please leave let's go with the gem emoji in the comment box below and share a bit about your experience so others can find the support of your words. Much love to you, Group 4. Thank you for being here all the way to the end. I appreciate that so much. I love it. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.